Namaskar. What is the relation between nationalism and the colonial difference? Nationalism has been much explored with relation to the decolonization process. However, there is disagreement as to what role it played and how it functioned in assessing the relationship between nationalism and colonial difference. This essay will show on the work of Partha Chatterjee to argue that a distinction might be drawn between political and cultural nationalism, whilst political nationalism sought to challenge the notion of colonial difference in the outer realm. Cultural nationalism sought to maintain, albeit reformed and reshaped, in the inner realms. This contradictory process continues to have important consequences for Africa today. In his path-breaking work, Imagined Communities, Benedict Anderson came to explain the creation and global spread of nationalism, a significant factor in understanding the origins of anti-colonial nationalism. He asserted lay in the activities of the naive bilingual intelligentsias. They had access to modern Western culture in the broadest sense, and in particular to the models of nationalism. Non-nation as a nation state produced elsewhere in the course of the 19th century. Many of the primary figures in African anti-colonial nationalism, including Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania and Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, spoke the language of their colonial masters and had lived in Europe or North America, drawing on the knowledge and experiences they gained. These indigenous intelligentsias were able to forge nationalist consciousness, and having been denied positions of power by colonial regimes, they became the spokesmen for anti-colonial nationalism. Yet critics have suggested that Anderson's account denies the colonialized world any real agency, and any Alumba asserts that in accepting the explanation, one accepts that anti-colonial nationalism is itself made possible and shaped by European political and intellectual history. It is thus reduced to a derivative discourse which is dependent on the models and language gained from the colonial power. The Subaltern Studies Collective, and in particular Partha Chatterjee, have sought to challenge this conception. Chatterjee asks if nationalism in the rest of the world have to choose their imagined community from certain modular forms already made available to them by Europe and the Americas. What do they have left to imagine? He concludes that Europe and Americas must not only have scripted colonial enlightenment and exploitation, but also the anti-colonial resistance and post-colonial colonial imagery. Even our imaginations must remain forever colonized. Yet Chatterjee cannot reconcile Anderson's Eurocentrism with the evidence of anti-colonial nationalism, for in many ways it focused not on a particular identity, not on derivation, but on the differences between Western and nations less African identities. As such, if we wish to understand anti-colonial nationalism, we must look not only at what was borrowed from the colonial powers, but also at how colonial difference was maintained and challenged. In order to achieve this, it is helpful helpful to draw a distinction between nationalism as a political movement, the outer domain, and nationalism as a cultural construct, the inner domain. Whilst the former challenge seeks to challenge the colonial state, the latter enables the colonized subject to create an autonomous personal space. It is this second process where, long before it beings its political struggle, nationalism operates to fashion a modern project that is nevertheless not Western. Chatterjee writes that if the nation is an imagined community, then it is where it is shot into being. Thus, anti-colonial nationalism often declared its sovereignty over issues such as language, religion, novels, art, schooling, and popular culture. Indeed, this was a fundamental feature of anti-colonial nationalism in Asia and Africa. Chatterjee Abiola Irele has argued, for example, that for Gold Coast intellectuals such as Joseph Kessler, Hayforth, and J.V. Dankwa, heretical and discursive became, to use Karl von Clausewitz's famous expression, politics by other means. Indeed, the literary effort became identified with an ideological project which often turned out to be extensive with aggressive militancy. Iraele observes that parallels can be drawn with cultural nationalism in Nigeria, which reinforces the general application of our observation. Similarly, Akudi Nobi reports that American filmmakers makers emerged as crucial to the formulation, nurturing, and orientation of specific nationalist discourses. This saw the incorporation of indigenous legends, aesthetics, and philosophical precepts in their works. Akudi Nobi notes that the merge of the former Nigerian film corporations are titled No, Not Hollywood, and asserts that this unequivocally advocates alternative representational paradigms. In this way, anti-colonial nationalism has fierce, fierceless, fierce, fiercely asserted a difference between cultures of the colonizer and the colonized. In the inner domain, anti-colonial nationalism sought to maintain notions of difference, reshaped and reformed in an effort to resist the sway of the modern institution of disciplinary power strategy. Yet simultaneously, in the arbitrary domain where nationalism functions as a political movement, it has fought relentlessly to erase the marks of colonial difference. The power of the colonial state was premised on the preservation of the alienness of ruling group. In other words, only by affirming their superiority could colonialists legitimize their activities. This process took a number of reforms. This marked an obvious choice in many countries and was used to differentiate between those who could participate in governance and civil society. Similarly, language was sometimes the basis for deciding who was allowed freedom of speech. South Africa provides one example where both of these differences were often starkly evident. Anti- anti- Anti-colonial nationalism sought to undermine colonial difference by demonstrating the inherent impossibility of reconciling the conditions of colonial rule with the modern regime of power which the colonialists sought to construct. These regimes were founded on the justification that by making social regulations any aspect of the self-disciplining of normalized individuals, power is made more productive, effective, and humane. Anti-colonial nationalists accepted this notion and argued not that colonial rule was imposing alien institution of state on indigenous society, but rather it was restricting and even violating the true principles of modern government. Thus, in South Africa, Nelson Mandela and the ANC were able to assert their rights with reference to the norms of enlightened modern states. Similarly, in Algeria, nationalist leader Amir Khalid exposed the tension between French colonialists' policies and the modern regime of power is sought to promote by turning assimilationist rhetoric against the colonial system. It was supposed to justify demanding equal rights for Muslim Thomas in back, tack, taking this tack. The project of nationalist hegemony was, and in its post-colonial phase continues to institute and ramify characteristically modern forms of disciplinary power strategy. Many ways then post-colonial states forged through nationalism have accepted the ideas and practices of colonialism. The contradictory relationship between nationalism and colonial difference remains important today. It helps us to recognize and understand the fundamental similarities between colonial and post-colonial states, specifically with relation to the techniques of rule, which have emphasized political unity and the centrality of culture and gender, where women have often been in the vessel for maintaining culture and spiritual purity. As such, this essay has argued that in assessing the relationship between nationalism and colonial difference, it is helpful to distinguish between political and cultural nationalism so that one might trace a contradictory process which remains of continued importance to this bibliography. Akudi Nobi, Jud, Judaism, nationalism, African cinema, and frames of scrutiny research in African literature. Anderson, Benedict, 1993, Imagine Communities, Words of Press Strategy, Partha, 1993, The Nation and its Fragments, Princeton University Press, Chatterjee Partha, 2004. Whose Imagine Community in Akbar Abbas, John Nugget, Ernie, and Bimal Desai Nayaki, Internationalizing Cultural Studies and Anthology in Internationalizing Cultural Studies and Blackwell Publishing. Irele Ebiola 2001, The African Imagination, Literature in Africa, The Black Diaspora, Oxford University Press, Lumba, Annie 5, Colonialism and Post-Colonialism, Routledge, Thomas Martin 2005, The French Empire Between the Wars, Imperialism, Politics and Society, Manchester University Press. धन्यवाद, thank you so much.